Hello and welcome once again to Info Corona, our special show on weekdays where we try and separate the news around Corona from the noise. Now, the coronavirus pandemic has hit all sectors of the economy. It's forced several businesses to shut, industries to halt production, left migrant workers in the lurch, robbed farmers in several parts of the country of their regular income. But there is one group that hasn't been focused upon. The pandemic has hit lakhs of traditional artisans and craftspeople of India. These are some of the great talents of this country. Those who make saris, who make toys, and so much more. For these artisans, they've had very little work or almost no work now for close to 3 months. Today we turn our gaze on the artisans of India. Remember, these are the people who help contribute to even our great festivals like Ganesh Utsav and Durga Puja. Every other year, this would become peak season for idol makers as they prepare in particular for festivities like Ganesh and Durga Puja. But this year, the chance of celebrating the festivals on a mass scale are remote, pushing the traditional potters and sculptors to perhaps penury. Our top story today on the artisans of the country starts with the idol makers.
The city of Mumbai continues to remain the epicenter of coronavirus in India. Amid such circumstances, the usually grand celebrations for Ganeshotsav in the city are unlikely to take place. Every other year by this time, the raw material for making the larger-than-life idols is piled up in the workshops. And the idol makers are busy finalizing their specifications for the idols with Ganpati Mandals. But this year, none of it is happening. Most idol makers are yet to get land to begin work. Orders have still not trickled in, and raw material is unavailable.
We have to find the place at this time in April or May, and order also start in April or May. So I think because of a lockdown, we cannot find the place, and even the starting is a place. So workers are going back their home, and there is no raw materials right.
At a renowned Ganpati idol maker Sagar Chitale's workshop in Matunga, most idols are lying unfinished. With the raw material unavailable, he has decided to use paper to give shape to the idols.
मिट्टी की मूर्ति अच्छी तो है ही है, बहुत अच्छी है, पानी में विसर्जन भी हो जाएगी, मगर पेपर की मूर्ति भी उतनी ही अच्छी है, वो आपके बिल्डिंग में ही टैंक बना के वहाँ भी विसर्जन हो सकता है। फॉर द टाइम बिंग मैं मेरे रेगुलर्स बुला ही नहीं रहा हूँ, है तो लोकल ही सब, लेकिन बिल्डिंग वालों को तकलीफ नहीं होनी चाहिए करके बुला ही नहीं रहा हूँ, लेकिन आई एम गोइंग टू कॉल देम इन अ डे और टू।
The idol makers in Kolkata are also faced with the same set of problems. Around this time of the year, they are usually gearing up for Durga Puja in the month of October.
इस टाइम पे हम लोगों को यहाँ पर फुल फ्लेज में काम होता था, क्योंकि पूरा स्ट्रक्चर रेडी करके कुछ कंप्लीट करके गोडाउन में उसको शिफ्ट कर दिया जाता था, मगर अभी ये सब एकदम बंद है।
The colossal idols, sometimes going up to 70 to 80 feet, have to be constructed well in advance. Some of them are even exported to European and American countries for Bengali communities living there.
Now there is barely any time left for the shipment of this idol, because the idol shipment takes at least 3 months to reach to the North American or the European destinations.
The pandemic has also hit other artists across the country. Over 20,000 artists associated with Madhubani art form have been rendered unemployed.
मेरा तो पहले हम इंटरनेशनल एग्जीबिशन भी करते थे, डेमो देने के लिए जाते थे, गवर्नमेंट के थ्रू भी जाते थे, तो इससे हमारा अच्छी आमदनी हो जाता था। हमारे सारे ग्रुप जो था, लगभग 20-22 ग्रुप है, सभी सारे युवा वर्ग है। एक युवा हर फैमिली से 10 आदमी को रोजगार देता था, तो उस समझिए आपको 100 फैमिली बेरोजगार हो गया।
But artisan Remant Kumar Mishra is using this time to help other artists around him make masks with Madhubani paintings.
इससे पहले हम लोगों का काम बहुत अच्छा चल रहा था, बहुत सारा आइटम बनाते थे, साड़ी, दुपट्टा, बेडशीट और पेंटिंग भी बनाते थे, तो इससे बहुत प्रभाव पड़ा हम लोगों का। कुछ दिन के लिए काम भी बंद हो गया, लेकिन अभी हम लोग मास्क पे बना रहे हैं।
Pattachitra painters of Odisha are also struggling to cope. It was around the same time last year that Fani cyclone hit the state and damaged Pattachitra worth crores of rupees. And within a year's time, the coronavirus lockdown has come as the second blow.
From the idol makers, let's turn to another group that is hurting. No temples, no festivities, no exhibitions, no tourists have left the spirits damp in the small town of Mamallapuram. After almost 2 months of lockdown, the sculptors have slowly resumed work. But with less than half the workforce in place, owners and craftsmen are sitting and simply carving rocks. None of them have received any orders or sold a piece for 2 months. Shalini Robo gets us the next report from Tamil Nadu's famous little town of Mamallapuram.
Mamallapuram is a well-known tourist destination as it houses the UNESCO group of monuments. You've got the Arjuna's penance, like what's behind me. You have the Panchrathas, the Shore Temple, Krishna Butterball. This is history carved in stone. Now, while many of the sculptors based out of Mamallapuram are sought after for their expertise right now during the COVID pandemic, they are the ones who have taken a huge hit in this tourist town.
Vijay's family has owned the Sri Raja Stone Carving Centre for 45 years. They have stone sculptures ranging from 35,000 rupees to $1.5 lakh. But due to the lockdown, their workshop was shut. It has now opened up again, but with less than half the workforce.
Main customers pathina pondu temple la. Temple வந்து இப்போ வந்து எல்லார்கிட்டயும் இப்போ வந்து ஃபண்டிங் கிடையாது. எல்லாமே ரொம்ப லாக்ல நல்ல டெம்பிளும் மோஸ்டா ஆர்டர் பிளேஸ் பண்ணவங்களே இப்போ வந்து எடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா எல்லாம் வந்து ரீயூனியன் போன அந்த பாக்ஸ் கிட்டத்தட்ட 2 மாசம் ஆச்சு. ஒரு ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் இல்ல, பேமெண்ட்ல எதுவுமே கிடையாது.
Loganathan is also in the manufacturing business of stone sculptures. He has resumed business with a few craftsmen of his, and they sit and toil away, not knowing when their next sale will be.
இப்போ வந்து வேலை செய்யறவங்கலாம் வந்து அட்வான்ஸ் ஏதோ கொடுத்துருக்கோம். இனிமே சேல்ஸ் ஆனாதான் அவங்களுக்கு சம்பளம் எல்லாம் போட்டு பைசல் பண்ணணும், பண்ணி கொடுத்துன்னு இருக்கணும்.
Many of the craftsmen are local daily wagers. They used to earn between rupees 500 to 1500 a day, but not anymore.
சாப்பாட்டுக்கு வழி இல்லை. நாங்கள் ஓனர்கிட்ட அட்வான்ஸ் வாங்கி தான் சில சாமான்கள் வாங்கி குடும்பத்தை பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கோம். இந்த ஒரு வாரமாக தான் இந்த தொழிலுக்கு வந்திருக்கோம். இந்த வேலை வச்சு தான் டெய்லி வந்து 300 ரூபாய் பட்டி காசு கொடுப்பாரு. அந்த காசு வச்சு.
With temples saying they have no money and tourism drying up, these sculptors at Mamallapuram wait, chisels at the ready, hoping for business to pick up soon.
Now remember, handloom and handicraft is the biggest employer in the country after the agriculture sector. And this again is supposed to be peak season for them. It's turned unfortunately into a period of gloom. With COVID-19 cutting their season short, many of them are staring at financial distress and a loss of livelihood. Up next, we get you a ground report on the weavers across the country and how they are coping in Corona times. Take a look.
In India, estimates suggest that over 130 lakh people across rural and semi-rural locations are engaged in professions related to arts and crafts. And just like the migrant workers, most of them too are daily wagers. At a time when even the big industries and mills across the nation are shut, the condition of craftsmen employed by the medium and small enterprises is pitiable. The weavers of Varanasi produce some of the world's finest silk saris. The hand-woven Banarasis are widely sought after. The livelihood of around 6 lakh people depend on them. But since the lockdown, the looms have fallen silent. All one can hear are the stories of misery.
अब जब काम बने तो मजदूरी नहीं मिलेगी. जो पैसा रखे हैं आदमी मजदूरी करके वही खा रहा है, पी रहा है. अब वो भी जब धीरे धीरे समाप्त हुई हो जाएगा.
The Banarasi sari trade is valued at about 5,000 crore rupees per year. And now its creators sleep on empty stomachs. But for how long?
भाई हम लोगों का जो स्थिति इस टाइम है इसके पहले भी बहुत अच्छा नहीं था, बहुत बेहतर तो नहीं था, और आगे मार्केट खुलेगी तो भाई लोगों का बाहर से आना जाना तो कम ही रहेगा, लोग माल तो उतना खरीदेंगे नहीं। इस वजह से हो सकता है कि हम लोगों की मार्केट खूब अच्छी न रहे।
Over 700 kilometers from Varanasi, there are around 2,000 handlooms and 40,000 power looms in Fulia and Shantipur area of Nadia district of West Bengal. The region specializes in Taat sarees, known the world over for the quality of thread and weaving. 62-year-old Shamur Ghosh has been weaving such sarees for over 2 decades now. And never before in his life has he spent months sitting idle.
এরপরে এখন লকডাউন চলে গেলেও পুজোর আগে কিছু হবে বলে আশা নেই।
Before the lockdown hit, these sarees were exported to far-off cities and weavers would earn at least 500 rupees per day.
মহাজন পরেন সুতো দিচ্ছে না, ঠিক আছে, এবার মহাজন আর তাঁত জুড়বে না বলেছে।
It has been a double whammy for the artisans and weavers of Kashmir Valley. First, the security shutdown following abrogation of Article 370 and then the virus lockdown.
इससे पहले 375 की वजह से हमारे शॉप बंद रहे और उसके बाद हमारे जब रिसेंटली ओपन हुए शॉप वगैरह तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ तो ये बीमारी आ गई, अब सब खत्म हो गया, क्या कर सकते हैं।
According to the Directorate of Handicrafts in Kashmir, there are nearly 2.5 lakh artisans directly dependent on the trade for their livelihood. And most of the trade is dependent either on exports or tourism.
The lockdown that resulted after Article 370 was abrogated eventually meant that for a long time there was no business. They were hoping that this year it would pick up, but now the COVID-19 has hit them hard.
It is the same sad story for weavers across the country, be it those associated with the chicken curry work in Lucknow or the Bandhani workers in Gujarat's Jamnagar. The weavers and their trade are in dire straits, with very little hope of revival in the near future.
And joining me now, Shumita Ghosh, founder and managing director, Rangsutra. Appreciate your joining us. Ms. Ghosh, I want to understand from you the scale of the problem. This problem existed in a way also after demonetization. Has it got much, much worse this time? Have supply links broken, the marketing, the production? Is this a problem that concerns weavers and traditional artisans across the spectrum?
Yes, Rajdeep, it does. It concerns weavers and artisans across the spectrum. Everyone is very badly affected, and they are really wondering what to do next, how to go about reviving their work. And although I must say that many of us who work in the craft sector, organizations across profit, not-for-profit, NGOs across the scape, have got together and trying to do some things to improve their situation, to bring about, to get some relief for them, to try and sell their products. And but the situation is grim.
What is the solution? Is it possibly a solution where you could sell their products online? Is there another way in which you could revive the business? Do you expect the state to do it, or has civil society got to step up?
I think everyone has to step up. Civil society, yes, of course. Each one of us, we have to buy things, whether it's clothes, whether it's small little things we need for our home. So we can all be what I call conscious customers, conscious citizens. When you buy a product, try and think about, choose a product which is going to help an artisan sitting in his or her village. Of course, government has to step up. Government has to create more work. It can even be given as part, craft work can be a part of Manrega. It can also support by procuring and handloom and handicrafts for their offices and for hotels and other such places. And of course, the craftspeople and their organizations are we're all doing our best to try and build resilience, but everyone does need a hand up and does need support from every fellow Indian and globally to support, craftspeople, handloom weavers and craftspeople through this time.
In a way, you're saying be Indian, buy Indian. You're saying one of the ways to sort of support these groups is going to be in this 2020-21 period, be Indian, buy Indian.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Be Indian, buy Indian. And even, of course, there's going to be a move away from things like fast fashion to go on into more sustainable production, which actually the handicraft and handloom industry is a great opportunity for us to go back, not to business as usual, but to go back to a way of producing and production which really respects the supplier, the producer, and enables a good return and income to the craftsperson. At the same time delivering a fantastic handmade work of art, whether it's a sari, whether it's a kurta, whether it's your home furnishings. You're going to be at home a lot. Everyone is going to spend a lot of time at home. So why not surround yourself with things that have more of a meaning. It's not just a product. It's not just a curtain. But when you're buying a curtain, you know that what I'm buying is helping a weaver or helping a woman who's done embroidery on it. And I think that kind of connection needs to be built and strengthened.
So you're in a sense calling for a new ecosystem, a new way of, consumption. You're calling for conscientious consumption with a conscience is what you're calling for. Shumita Ghosh, I appreciate your joining us on this special as we focus on the artisans and their difficulties in Corona times. Now, another community hit by the pandemic is that of the wooden toy makers. That's right, those of Channapatna in Karnataka as well as the ones in Varanasi. These craftsmen too are in dire straits. Their only hope, revival of interstate tourism. And at the center of India's glass-blowing industry, the bangle makers of Firozabad are also struggling to survive. Take a look at these reports and these small industries that employ many, many people. Take a look.
Artisans in Channapatna town have carved out a livelihood for centuries, making the famous GI-tagged Channapatna toys. Fashioned out of wood, soft ivory, teak, rubber, neem and lacquered with vibrant natural dyes, the toys have a 200-year-old history. But today, factories are being run with skeletal staff. And with retail shops not selling their products, production has slowed down to the bare minimum.
30 साल से ही मैं काम चला रहा हूँ। ये कोरोना के वजह से हमारा फैक्ट्री पूरा एकदम डेड हो गया, क्योंकि कोई भी माल लेने वाला नहीं है। हम बना दिए तो कोई भी खरीदने वाला नहीं है।
Shiva Prasad's toy store is strategically placed on the side of the road that attracts travelers heading to Bengaluru from Mysuru. His very handsome sales have dwindled because now there are no tourists.
50 days full open ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಐಟಮ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಫುಲ್ಲು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ತುಂಬಿಕೊಂಡು ಐಟಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ.
Meanwhile, the Southwestern Railway has begun distributing the iconic Channapatna toys to children boarding the Shramik special trains from Karnataka. An initiative to provide an opportunity to local artisans to promote their art. Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh is also rich in the craft of toy making. Bright and colourful lacquered toys made by skilled artisans, where the craft has been traditionally passed down from one generation to the next. But ever since the lockdown, these 500-odd craftsmen have run out of work as well as money. And almost 90% of such small workshops are now shut.
मजबूरी में करने हलवाई दुकान में लकड़ी काम करते थे, माल नान बिकने थे, मजबूरी खुद आई.
Stock has been lying at Sitaram's workshop, but there are no takers.
ये जब से
यहाँ पर लॉकडाउन हुआ है ना, तब से यहाँ के जो दुकानदार लोग हैं ये माल खरीदना बिल्कुल बंद कर दिए हैं। अब इन्हीं लोगों को हम लोग देकर अपना जीविका पार्जन करते थे। जब ये लोग माल नहीं खरीदेंगे तो हम बनाकर क्या करेंगे।
Not long ago, there were almost 5,000 artisans associated with the wooden toy industry of Varanasi. But over the years, with few takers, most have quit the craft for better paying jobs. And if situation continues to be this bad, the few left will also look for other opportunities. A little over 500 kilometers from Varanasi and reeling under the impact of lockdown is also the glass bangle industry of Firozabad. The usually bustling popular bangle hub has fallen silent. While the Uttar Pradesh government has announced that the glass industry of Firozabad will soon start operation, those associated with it say that social distancing of workers is not an option in the small-scale workshops.
चूड़ी उद्योग में सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग वाला मैटर नहीं लागू कर पाएंगे क्योंकि उसमें लेबर सब बगल बगल से बैठती है और श्रमिक जो है सब बहुत ज़्यादा उसमें इन्वॉल्व रहते हैं, जिससे कि वो लोम जो है गरम वगैरह जो चूड़ी की है वो जल्दी सप्लाई करते हैं एक दूसरे को।
For these artisans of India, practicing the traditional crafts of their ancestors, the year 2020 is turning out to be the hardest to survive. Even when one is not infected by the coronavirus, but severely impacted by it.
So what we've tried to bring in these stories is a perspective of those who are losing out in the coronavirus pandemic, and very little is spoken about them. This is the country of the great artisans, the traditional artists and craftspersons. They need your support. Become conscientious citizens, support the artisans and the traditional crafts of this great country. Maybe that's a way to build an Atmanirbhar Bharat in some way, which is the new buzzword of the government of India. It's time for them and indeed civil society to walk the talk. We can only hope that our artisans have a better future ahead of them. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.